different versions over the weekend, they'd sort of let the story sit. Indications are that this is the result of Turkish officials having shared more of their own intelligence on the murder with the Saudis. Since Turkey has been giving that information to the US, it would not make much sense for the Saudis to make claims contradicting what Turkey has already found out. Of course, since the Saudis killing Khashoggi, the simplest way to avoid having to keep changing their official story would have been to tell the truth in the first place. The problem is that officials are desperate to keep the crown prince from being blamed in any direct way for it, which means they have to keep dancing around the underpinning of the plot. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. UPI reports Twitter's crackdown on automated bot, spam, and fake accounts resulted in the loss of 9 million users in the third quarter, according to the company on Thursday. The social media giant said it anticipated the loss after it started using better software to pinpoint questionable accounts or prevent them from signing up at all. Twitter said in its quarterly filing, "We made progress preventing spammy or suspicious new account creation by requiring new accounts to confirm either an email address or phone number when they sign up to Twitter, and we improved the detection and removal of previously banned accounts who attempted to evade suspension by creating new accounts." With the losses, Twitter's user base fell to 326 million, which after 2 straight quarters of losses roughly matches the level that it was in early 2017. Twitter said it added new users but wiped out more than it gained. Daily active users grew 9% over the last year, but they account for fewer than half of monthly users. Twitter said it expected to lose several million more in the fourth quarter. It also reported a profit for the last 4 quarters, something it hasn't achieved before. Revenue growth was up 29% year over year, and net income totaled $106 million. Video accounts for half of the company's ad revenue. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. Reuters reports Caitlyn Jenner, America's best-known transgender celebrity, said on Thursday that she had been wrong to support President Donald Trump, saying he had insulted the transgender community and turned them into political pawns. Jenner, who announced her transition from Bruce Jenner to Caitlyn in 2015, voted for Republican Donald Trump in the 2016 presidential election despite criticism from the LGBT community. In an opinion piece for the Washington Post on Thursday, Jenner said she had hoped to work with Trump and Republican policymakers to support transgender people. Jenner said, "Sadly, I was wrong. The reality is that the trans community is being relentlessly attacked by this president. He has ignored our humanity. He has insulted our dignity. He has made trans people into political pawns as he whips up animus against us in an attempt to energize the most right-wing segments of his party." Jenner's opinion piece was published after a report this week that the Trump administration was attempting to create a narrow definition of gender as being only male or female and unchangeable once it is determined at birth. Jenner had been one of the biggest celebrity supporters of Trump, but she wrote on Thursday, "I cannot support anyone who is working against our community. I do not support Trump. I must learn from my mistakes and move forward." This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Tomorrow's my big day. I'm going to go in for surgery, and hopefully you'll come along. Now, I do have to admit that I am in a bit of pain, so I'm really looking forward to this procedure. I think we're both going to find out that having surgery just isn't as scary as it sounds.
We're covering our own Jim Haggerty's kidney stone removal surgery, and his surgery is now just minutes away. So, Dr. Atka, tell us what precautions we would take to prevent us from getting kidney stones.
Always stay hydrated. Water helps the kidneys break the stuff down.
Ah, hear that, Jim? More water.
What?
More water. Maybe we should replace your coffee.
Please go away. Please. Ow, no.
That's a camera they're going to use to film the whole surgery from inside Jim's body,
yes, that's going to
right?
be pushed into Jim's urethra as well. Now, normally they wouldn't do this. This is purely for the benefit of us watching it on TV.
All right, stick with us because first he's going to pop into the children's ward to cheer up some youngsters suffering from terminal illnesses.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live. This is Free Talk Live. We'll give you the toll-free call-in line numbers here momentarily where you can call in to join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl,
Michael,
and Chris.
And we always bring things to the table. Michael, you've got a story about a really expensive coffee cup. Now, I'm guessing that there's something very, very special about this coffee cup, and it will, of course, during the discussion, bring up all kinds of discussion about other government waste. And I actually pulled up an article from Reader's Digest about 11 bizarre things that governments actually spent money on. And by governments, I mean the U.S. federal government. So start off telling us about this expensive coffee cup.
what other government is there? Doesn't the U.S. run the whole world?
Well, some would say that. Others would say that there are other governments that run the secret shadow government that runs the U.S., and I think that some of those people are crazy.
Well, let's go on about these coffee cups then. These are actually from the U.S. Air Force, which is under fire now for throwing down $1,280 a piece to replace in-flight reheating cups after their handles break. This is from the Air Force Times from, looks like from Sunday.
All right.
Or Monday. And they're pledging now to use 3D printing to get that replacement cost down to 50 cents.
Okay, I'm surprised that someone in the Air Force knows how to operate a 3D printer.
Well, here's the thing. The reason they're doing this at all is because Senator Chuck Grassley, Republican from Iowa, is still wondering why these pricey water heaters are necessary in the first place, and he plans to keep pushing the Air Force to find cheaper ways to warm up their coffee.
Yeah, and I remember hearing, and it's been, a good many years since I heard this story about, I forget if it was the Air Force or the Navy, but it was, one of these military branches that spent some outrageous amount of money for a coffee pot because, well, it has to be specially made to fit the coffee maker that was specially made to fit the coffee pot.
Right.
Where, like, everything, it's one of these weird catch-22 sort of things. So, well, we can't just go buy a coffee pot from Walmart or some other place because
they don't fit.
It's not going to fit this coffee maker that was custom made to be able to handle this custom made other piece.
Well, this turns out to be a very similar situation. These cups they actually plug into special outlets on cargo planes to reheat liquids such as water or coffee. They have a faulty plastic handle that easily breaks when the cups are dropped. Now, because replacement parts for this cup are no longer made, the Air Force has been ordering a whole new cup when the handle breaks.
Of course.
In an October 2nd letter to Air Force Secretary Heather Wilson, Grassley said that 25 replacement cups, each costing roughly $1,280 each, have been bought this year alone for a total of roughly $32,000.
$32,000 on coffee cups.
The 60th Aerial Port Squadron at Travis Air Force Base in California spent nearly $56,000 to replace these broken cups over the past 3 years, and that price is rising. Grassley noted that Travis said each cup cost taxpayers $693 in 2016. So the price has doubled in 2 years.
Yeah, because, inflation and, of course, we have to wind up paying more because just all kinds of other reasons. We can't cut the military budget, Michael. What are you trying to suggest here? That they could be efficient?
Well, and
then maybe not lose $21 trillion over a decade?
The Department of Defense, as far as I know, still does not even know how much money they have or how much money they're spending.
Right.
So Grassley went on He says paying nearly $700 for a single cup is bad enough, but it's simply beyond reason to continue to pay ever-increasing prices for something as simple as a coffee cup that is so fragile it needs to be constantly replaced. This latest example of reckless spending of taxpayer dollars gives me no confidence that the Air Force is taking real steps to reduce wasteful spending practices. In an October 17th letter back to Grassley, Wilson said that it is simply irresponsible to spend thousands of dollars on manufactured parts when we have the technology available to produce them ourselves once a supplier either stops producing those parts or goes out of business. Wilson said that in July, she ordered a new Air Force Rapid Sustainment Office to be created to find ways to develop and deliver parts at a fraction of the cost of traditional manufacturing methods. This office has recently shown that it can 3D print replacement handles for the reheating cup for about 50 cents each.
All right, so they're just going to 3D print the handle, not the entire cup.
Well, the handle is the part that's breaking, but
right.
But they can't order replacement handles anymore for God only knows what reason, because they can order the replacement cups, and the replacement cups have a handle.
Right. I'm guessing
don't know what's going on there.
I'm guessing the reason they can't buy a replacement handle is the company decided, you know what? We can make a lot more money if we just tell them that they can't buy a handle. They've got to buy a whole new cup. And then they jack up the price because of whatever reason. Basically, that whatever reason is they can.
All right. So these cups are insanely expensive to begin with. Why?
Why? We're about to find out. Back to the Air Force Times, Wilson told Grassley that this cup is specially manufactured to plug into aircraft systems, and because it connects to the aircraft, the replacements need to be certified as airworthy by the FAA.
Oh, yes, I've heard of this.
Isn't this ridiculous?
Yes. Yeah.
There is some truth to this. Every commercial and military airplane has what's called a minimum equipment list, MEL. Pilots will know exactly what this is. It's a list of things on the aircraft that tells you if you're allowed to fly if that part is broken.
All right.
So apparently this coffee cup has gotten onto the minimum equipment list for these planes.
Right, so we can't just have some pilot flying around in an F-35 with a coffee cup without a handle.
Right.
So it does make sense that you want a handle on your coffee cup, but at the same time, it's just ridiculous that some company found a way to wind up charging almost $1,300 for a coffee cup. And then not selling replacements for the one part that keeps breaking?
The handle, right.
Yeah.
So the FAA certification for this part has driven up the cost of buying 391 of these cups since 2016 to $326,785, Wilson said, or about $836 a piece on average. The water heaters are used on 59 KC-10s, 52 C-5s, and 222 C-17s, Wilson said. But with planes aging and the average KC-10 at 34 years old, it's harder and harder to find replacement parts for those aircraft, she said. And the price tag for raw materials for those parts is also increasing, Wilson said, with copper and chrome plating costs have increased 180% since 2016.
Now, what's caused the copper and chrome plating costs to go up? Is that more government regulation?
The article hasn't discussed that. The article doesn't get into that at all.
Okay.
That'd be something that one of you who's bored can look up and give us a call and let us know.
855-450-FREE is the number that you can use to call in. There's also the Discord call-in lines available at discord.lrn.fm.
Now, Wilson told Grassley that she and Chief of Staff General Dave Goldfein have ordered the new sustainment office to look for other items in the procurement process that it can self-produce or other overpriced items that it can stop buying without hurting the Air Force's mission. Now, Grassley said he was dissatisfied with Wilson's response and said he will keep digging. Quote, "It leaves me with more questions. While I appreciate that the Air Force is working to find innovations that would help save taxpayer dollars, it remains unclear why it cannot find a cheaper alternative to a $1,280 cup. Government officials have the responsibility to use taxpayer dollars efficiently. Too often that's not the case."
Right.
Unquote.
Like when Congress winds up giving the Pentagon even larger budgets than what the Pentagon even requests. And then they wonder, why are they spending so much money on coffee cups? Well, because you keep giving them money, and if they don't spend it, then they can't justify having a bigger budget next year, but you're going to give them an even bigger budget. This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com. I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com.
With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
The Liberty Dollar was so successful that the United States government had to take it down, and its founder, Bernard von Nothaus. Now Bernard's son Extra has launched Liberty Dollar 2. LD2 is a cryptocurrency, but each token is backed by the same gorgeous fine silver rounds that Liberty Dollar has always been known for. Your silver is secured in an audited vault and can be redeemed at any time. There's only a few thousand LD2 Zero tokens left in the crowd sale at ld2coin.io. Get yours. ld2coin.io.
Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform and generate income from them. This will allow Horizon to bring thousands of real-life services to the community, services that provide freedom, utility, and privacy. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community, HORIZEN.global.
Free Talk Live.
We have been brought forward to bring out the truth.
I knew this was
all right. What is the truth?
No, it's in the 2 books.
Oh, you've got to buy the books. Now, how much is somebody going to have to pay for these books?
It's right online, depending on what country you're in. They're $26 a piece here in the United States, including freight.
Now, why would God put books out and require people to pay for them? What's the point in that? I mean, aren't there people out there that can't afford that?
Those of us here on Earth have had to put the material together and get it copyrighted and available.
Why would God want to copyright something? What's the point of that? I mean, wouldn't God want
anything on this planet has to be copyrighted to be put out legally by
That's
your
not true.
government
Not true at all. Not true, sir. Nope. You can put whatever you want out there.
Explain?
No, you let me explain, because whatever you want, you can put online, and nobody's going to tell you can't do it.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That is how you can call in and join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. We in studio are talking about government waste, and the we in studio are me, Darryl,
Michael,
and Chris.
And before we get back into talking about government waste, I want to tell you about a way that you can actually save money on things that you were going to buy anyway, or maybe you're only buying it because you can save money on it. Either way, you want to know about saveatpurse.com, and bitcoin.com wants you to know about that as well. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin BTC. And now you can fund your account using Bitcoin Cash BCH. You can save between 5 to 33% on things that you, again, were going to buy anyway, or maybe it's just something that you're going to treat yourself. I can save 30%. All right, I'll go ahead and treat myself to something. And you save. Save at Purse. That's Save AT Purse, all one word, saveatpurse.com. So what you do is you add items to your cart, you fund your account, you select the discount, and then you save. Saveatpurse.com. So jumping over to an article from Reader's Digest from earlier this year, actually, titled 11 Bizarre Things That the U.S. Government Actually Spent Money On. And I know for libertarians and some conservatives, it's not, it's not uncommon to hear about various things that the U.S. federal government has wasted money on. Well, did you hear about the $28 million that was spent on camouflage that didn't work?
Didn't work? Dude, tell.
So in 2017... the Pentagon was criticized for spending $28 million on licensing fees for a lush green pattern for the Afghan National Army. The problem is Afghanistan is 98% desert, so the bright colors stood out, which is the complete opposite that, that's not why you want camo. You don't want camo to stand out. You want camo to blend in. So you don't pick a forest pattern for a desert.
Now, why on earth did they do that? Because they've got the digital camo. They've had the digital camo. I know they're moving away from it now, but they had the desert digital that seemed to work pretty well out there.
Yeah, they don't mention why in this Reader's Digest article, but I happen to have remembered reading and hearing about this at the time, and apparently the guy that was going through picking out the patterns, he liked the way it looked.
Okay.
He liked the way it looked.
Was this a civilian or?
No, it was a bureaucrat.
Darryl, before you had said that, I was thinking was, well, maybe they were planning to invade, another country that was more green for food or something. Then it might make sense.
No. The Afghan army wasn't planning to invade another country. They just wanted this because it looked good. Reader's Digest here continues, picking a different color, say one of the many others the government already has the right to and aren't already used by American forces. Plus, making alterations like swapping pricey zippers for cheap buttons would save taxpayers between $68.6 to $71.2 million over the course of a decade, according to a government report. Next on the list, paying hipsters to stop smoking.
What?
When the NIH figured anti-smoking ads weren't resonating with young adults, they decided to go straight to the source. That's right. Hipsters, or as the Commune Project called them, a group focused on the alternative music scene, local artists and designers, and eclectic self-expression.
Sounds like hipsters to me.
The campaign spent $5 million in federal cash on Commune-branded beer koozies and other swag, smoke-free events featuring indie bands, artist-designed flyers, and more. Another initiative involved paying hipster smokers $100 to kick the habit and then blog about it. The hope was that the influence would spread the anti-smoking message to their friends and make smoking uncool again.
Well, it's already uncool. I mean, what? Someone in the federal government is totally like they're 10 years behind. Okay,
this is like the opposite of like banning free speech. It's having kind of the same effect of manipulating us, like as a society, theoretically, if it actually worked.
Right, and then there are the people that, if they hear that some government somewhere is behind something, they're like, all right, I just want to do it because the government says it's illegal.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need a law saying don't drop a toaster in the bathtub with you. But if that were on the book, somebody somewhere would be like, oh, they say it's a bad idea. I'm totally doing that the next time I get in the bathtub.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because there are people that are contrarians. That's how you wind up with flat earthers. Next on the list from Reader's Digest again of bizarre examples of government waste, sex, drugs, and quells? Yeah, that's right. The government spent at least $518,000 in federal grants to study how cocaine affects the sexual behavior of the Japanese quail. Sounds pretty outlandish, but the researchers had their reasons. They were trying to look at how cocaine abuse affected risky sexual behaviors in humans, and the sex habits of quails are easy to measure in a laboratory setting.
Aren't the sex habits of humans easy to measure?
Not really, because it relies on people to be honest, and men, by and large, are going to over-report how frequently they have relations, whereas most women would under-report how frequently. Next on the list, hamster fights. Yes. Those are two words that I never thought that I would ever say together.
Hamster fights.
Hamster fights. For more than 20 years, Northwestern University researchers received National Institute from Health money to watch hamsters fight. The project reportedly received more than $3 million over the course of the project and $306,000 in the year 2015 alone.
How do you even get hamsters to fight?
You probably give them cocaine, or I could read the next sentence where they actually explain this.
Yeah.
Some of the experiments
You're going to have to explain this one.
involved injecting hamsters with steroids, then putting another hamster in a cage to see if the drugged-up rodents were more aggressive when protecting their territory. Others investigated whether becoming a trained fighter through 2 weeks of face-offs made the critters more aggressive. The experiment stopped after animal activists pressured the lab to cut the program.
Hamsters fighting with steroids.
Now,
whose bright idea was this?
Somebody at Northwestern University.
Oh, that explains it.
But now I'm curious, can I find hamster fight DVDs? Is this on the dark web?
It's got to be somewhere on out there.
855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. Also available on the Discord. Discord.lrn.fm.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it! You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me? Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That is the toll-free call-in line, how you can call in to join us. We also have the Discord. Discord is a lot of things. There's a bunch of chat rooms. There are audio rooms that you can go in where you can verbally chat with others, and there are the call-in lines where you can call in to us. You can find all of that at discord.lrn.fm. We'll get back into the article here from Reader's Digest, going over 11 bizarre things that the federal government had wasted money on. I'm still intrigued by these hamster fights, and I wasn't able to find video from Northwestern University's nearly 20 years of research on hamster fighting.
I think we would have gotten something out of that, right?
Did they not film any of these fights? And
well, the thing is, they say that they stopped the experiments because of pressure from animal rights activists, which means they probably didn't make any of the video publicly available. Yeah. Now, I'm guessing a Freedom of Information Act request might be able to get me copies of hamster fights. I don't really know. I'm not interested enough to actually file a FOIA request. But, if it was easily obtainable, I would definitely watch it. Let's go to Sarah calling in from New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts. Sarah in New Mexico.
Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
There you are. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. How How come I got to be put on so early? I got put on right away.
Because you called in about 2 hours earlier than you normally do, and we answered the phone. Like that happens if you call earlier in the night, then you're going to be on before 9:30.
There aren't as many people calling in early as opposed to late.
Go ahead with your thoughts, Sarah.
Okay, I just want to say, did you know that our state has a Native American Voters Guide? And it has the native language translation. And we just started it just recently. I think this election is when we started it. And then we had 2 polling locations on the reservations about 4 years ago. So it's on Tribal Road. The address is Tribal Road. So that was just 4 years ago. Now we have Native American Voters Guide, and you know what the Voters Guide is, right?
It's a thing that has a list of all of the candidates. Some of them will have statements from candidates. Now, is this something that's put out by the Secretary of State, or is this a privately done Voters Guide? Because I know in some states the League of Women Voters will put something out, but then in other states like California, the Secretary of State actually publishes a voter guide.
Well, our state is all done by the League of Voters Women's Ladies, the League of Women, and then they're the one that actually help the natives to write these.
Okay, so they translated it from English into a language that, somebody might be able to read if they don't, fluently read English. I think it's a great idea. What are your thoughts?
Well, you know what? I think it's just amazing that the Native, the First Nations are actually interested in voting. They pretty much so much interest because they pretty much gave up on the voting. I mean, they used to be the most apathetic. I know that we got voter apathy, but they're the most apathetic voters of America. For the longest,
I would love to see whatever statistic you are supposedly citing on that, because there are a lot of groups of minorities that can be seen as apathetic. Just because they don't vote because all of the candidates suck doesn't mean they're apathetic. Sarah, thank you for the call. So, thoughts on voter guides being translated into languages other than English? I like the idea.
Perfectly fine with me. The thing you got to realize is that the United States has always had people that speak every different language under the sun.
Right.
It's true, but I'm kind of curious, how many people are there that don't speak English in the Native American community in that area?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
But, English is not the official language of this country, despite what some people want to say.
The country hasn't got an official language.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
It's just, I've been through different tribal spots, and I've never noticed. But again, that's my perception, not necessarily how things are. But
they might be able to speak English, but maybe they can't read English.
Maybe
there are some reservations that I've been to where all of the road signs are written in whatever the native language is. Because
interesting,
the reservations are legally semi-autonomous. Now, I think the federal government might say autonomous, but in practicality, it's semi-autonomous.
Yeah, definitely semi.
And people have to remember that the Native Americans weren't U.S. citizens until citizenship was foisted upon them in the 1920s, I believe. The U.S. Constitution refers to citizens Indians not taxed as being exempt from the census.
I actually once asked, I forget which tribe or where exactly I was, but somewhere out in probably Arizona area. And did they have a currency? Because usually when you think of some sort of autonomous,
right?
There's some sort of currency or similar. And I guess they didn't in that case. So I'd be curious if any, groups have tribal groups, I guess, or however you want to phrase it, Native Americans have their own currency.
I don't know.
I've never heard of them using anything other than the U.S. dollar.
Right, but
I could be wrong.
Me either.
Yeah,
But
there are
if
some
they're-
Central American countries where the U.S. dollar is the official legal currency.
Right,
There
right.
You know, some Caribbean countries. That doesn't mean that they're not independent countries or that they don't have autonomy.
Right, but theoretically, I don't know. It would seem like if you're going to start looking at it, it's certainly true that not all countries do. Certain countries, many countries actually use other countries' currencies actually. But it's frequently one of those things that is kind of a part of being, a country, right? You develop your own currency, you develop your own postal system, you develop your own. There's just certain things, flags, things like that. So that's why I just thought it would be very curious if there were any, but apparently that particular area did not.
Yeah, and there are some towns or regions of states that do have their own local currencies. The Berkshire is something that exists to some extent in Western Massachusetts, I think. There's the Ithaca Hours for part of New York. And then, I've been to little towns in Ohio that just happen to have their own currency for some reason. Now, all of these are in some way pegged to the U.S. dollar, so it's not really a completely separate currency in respect of having its own exchange rate.
For considering that they're considered to be like autonomous, I guess, right? You would think that there would be an opportunity for a group to do something here. But I don't know. Yeah. I didn't research it. I just asked the one particular person working at a tribal, 7-Eleven, basically.
Right. And, there are also things that most Americans don't know where the federal government puts a lot of restrictions on what the reservations can and can't do.
Yeah, look at the FCC
which is
stuff.
why I said semi-autonomous, because it's not full autonomy. They are not in practicality independent, but they're kind of recognized as pseudo-independent, but not really. It's really interesting, and your calls and thoughts are welcome about that. Government waste or whatever is on your mind, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Doggo Suds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Sud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink, like we have. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening at home anytime, anywhere from your smartphone. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Let's talk tough. Let's talk comfort. Let's talk about down-home value. Made in the USA blue jeans, like you wore as a kid. Remember?
There's a place down in Tennessee where they make blue diamond gusset jeans. They so pride in every stitch. Guarantee you love the way they fit. They put a diamond gusset in the crotch where you need it most. Blue diamond gussets got it, others don't.
For good old-fashioned comfort, get Diamond Gusset jeans. Every stitch guaranteed. And our Defender motorcycle jean comes Kevlar reinforced. See them at GUSSET.com, that's gusset.com, or call 888-848-7738. That's 888-848-7738. Diamond Gusset jeans got it, others don't.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That's how you can call in and join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl,
Michael,
and Chris.
And we'll get back into the Reader's Digest list of some wasteful government programs. But first, I want to tell you about a way that you can protect your home and your family and your property, because those things are important, right? Well, you can do that with the Blink motion-activated HD cameras. They're wire-free, except for the hub that does have a wire that plugs in. But the cameras themselves, no wires that you have to running from the cameras to the hubs. They set up fast. The batteries last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening at home, anytime, anywhere from your smartphone or other mobile device. There are no contracts. There are no subscriptions. And Blink works with Alexa. Alexa, check my Blink cameras. You get 3 Blink cameras for way less than what the other guys charge, plus get an extra 15% off when you go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. Blink Protect, all one word, blinkprotect.com/FTL. Blink is an Amazon company. So we started talking about government waste at the beginning of the show, Michael, when you had a story about the $1,300, roughly, $1,300 coffee cups that have to meet some Air Force criteria for something, and the handles keep breaking, and the company that sells the coffee cups doesn't sell replacement handles. So what do you know? You've got to buy a whole new coffee cup.
And they have to be certified by the FAA as airworthy.
Yeah. And so that got us into a discussion about various other wasteful government programs or wasteful government spending, such as the $28 million spent on camouflage that doesn't actually camouflage. That was in 2017 in Afghanistan specifically, but it was the U.S. military paying for that. Other things include 20 years of research at Northwestern University, where they got grants from the National Institutes of Health to study hamster fighting. Federal government has also spent money on empty buildings. Some old schools, firehouses, offices, and more that aren't being used anymore, but the government still holds on to them. about 770,000 unused or underused buildings nationwide as of 2016. The thing is, these buildings don't just sit there innocently, even empty. They require maintenance, such as basic power, a mowed lawn, and pipes that won't freeze. Those costs add up to the tune of $1.7 billion every year. Something else that's wasteful? Printing documents that no one reads.
Who is printing documents that no one reads?
The federal government. The Federal Register, a daily document that outlines government proposals, decisions, meetings, and more, could theoretically make money through its $929 annual subscription. A good deal of the copies are unread. Every member of Congress automatically receives a new copy every day, even though the contents are available for free and searchable online. A bill currently being considered estimates $1 million a year in savings by stopping the government from automatically printing the Federal Register every day. Sounds like the government could benefit from reading 17 Habits of People Who Are Great at Saving Money. That being, I guess, some kind of paid link that Reader's Digest decided to throw in there because it does link over to something. But yeah, hey guys, let's print documents every day, even though you're going to get the document in your email.
That's pretty ridiculous. And Darryl, you're not supposed to read the ads.
Well, they've got it written directly into the text of the thing.
Sneaky.
Yeah, very, very sneaky. Next up, the federal government has wasted money digitizing Grateful Dead memorabilia. Some cheered and others scratched their head when the Institute of Museum and Library Services gave the University of California, Santa Cruz $615,175 in 2009 to digitize its collection of tickets, photos, t-shirts, and other memorabilia donated by the band, scholars, and fans. You can still view the online collection of more than 50,000 items on the university library's website. Next, forgotten storage. Forgotten storage. Yeah, like
forgotten. Who forgot?
Well, they have a picture here of like a storage unit.
Okay.
It says a 2011 report from the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration found that the IRS spent quite a bit of money on unused items in storage. After accounting for the items that had been used within a year and a half, the report estimated the IRS spent $862,000 in unnecessary warehouse space every year.
Yikes.
IHOP.
What?
IHOP. You know, the Pancake House. American taxpayers spent $500,000 for one because the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services gave a grant to build an IHOP in Washington, D.C. But no, this wasn't a benefit for Congress to get a new place to eat pancakes. The initiative was supposed to create 70 full-time jobs for low-income workers who qualified for government financial assistance.
And how many jobs did they create?
Wow.
It doesn't say, but my guess is it wasn't 70 full-time jobs. Next on the list, and looks like there are two more here, a Super Bowl ad with 2017's Super Bowl taking the crown as the most watched program in U.S. TV history. It's no surprise that even a short ad cost a pretty penny. That's why the Census Bureau came under fire in 2010 for using $2.5 million to run a 30-second ad. The Bureau stood by its decision, arguing that for every 1% increase in mail-in responses it received, they claim they saved $85 million sending someone door to door to collect information. And finally on this list from Reader's Digest, holograms of dead comedians. The National Comedy Center in Jamestown, New York, slated to open in the fall of 2018, received $3.525 million from the state of New York, plus another $1.7 million in federal grants. The immersive museum will feature a look back at influential comedians including via hologram, showing off classic comedians in their heyday. The museum hasn't released names, but it's expected that Lucille Ball, who's a native of Jamestown, will be among the comedians brought back to life via hologram and your tax dollars.
Holograms of dead comedians.
What justification was there for this? There was no defense. None of these were of defense. Were any of them of defense nature? I guess the coffee mug, sort of, kind of.
The coffee mug was the only, and the $28 million for camouflage, but I didn't say that all of these were from the Pentagon. This is just wasteful government spending.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Holograms of dead comedians. Why do we need that? What and I'm not a constitutionalist, but what section of the Constitution authorizes that? Let's go to the phones, or actually to the Discord, where we have, and I'm taking a risk here, we have someone calling himself Satan on the Discord. Go ahead, caller.
I heard my friend calling the other day from upstairs.
Yes, there was someone that called in a couple of days ago pretending to be God, and so now we have someone pretending to be Satan. Go ahead.
Lucille Ball's driving me crazy down here. You don't want her back.
Hold on. What did Lucille Ball do? And he just dropped. I was curious what Lucille Ball did to wind up going to the bad place, but he dropped off the line, so we will never know. That was the start of an actual pretty good prank call.
Yeah.
I wish it would have continued.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I don't know. He dropped off, but thank you for the call, whoever you are. And
try again tomorrow,
I'm guessing it's the same guy that called in pretending to be God a few days ago. The voice effects. You're doing a good job. Just like come up with a little bit of a routine there to where it lasts longer than
more content,
like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So coming up, there was something I totally am drawing a blank on that other story, Michael, that you have about.
I've got a pile
something.
of stories. What are you thinking of?
I don't remember, but we'll figure it out, and we'll take your calls as well.
What letter does it start with?
I don't remember. We'll figure it out. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. In an historic event, former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. To secure your spot, text JOIN to 44055. This event is the first of its kind ever. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls in the weeks and months ahead. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars. To join American Cannabis Summit, text JOIN to 44055. Attendance is free. Text JOIN to 44055.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin. mymagicmud.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, October 26th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.59 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,233 per ounce. Zen is trading at $14, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,479. Antiwar.com reports Saudi Arabia's prosecutor issued a statement Thursday, once again revising the kingdom's official account of their killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Citing new evidence, he says he now believes the killing was premeditated. This fact should come as no surprise, as a 15-man kill team was dispatched to the consulate specifically to meet Khashoggi. That the Saudis revised their story again, however, is noteworthy, as after a flurry of different versions over the weekend, they'd sort of let the story sit. Indications are that this is the result of Turkish officials having shared more of their own intelligence on the murder with the Saudis. Since Turkey has been giving that information to the U.S., it would not make much sense for the Saudis to make claims contradicting what Turkey has already found out. Of course, since the Saudis killing Khashoggi, the simplest way to avoid having to keep changing their official story would have been to tell the truth in the first place. The problem is that officials are desperate to keep the Crown Prince from being blamed in any direct way for it, which means they have to keep dancing around the underpinning of the plot. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. UPI reports Twitter's crackdown on automated bots, spam, and fake accounts resulted in the loss of 9 million users in the third quarter, according to the company on Thursday. The social media giant said it anticipated the loss after it started using better software to pinpoint questionable accounts or prevent them from signing up at all. Twitter said in its quarterly filing, "We made progress preventing spammy or suspicious new account creation by requiring new accounts to confirm either an email address or phone number when they sign up to Twitter, and we improved the detection and removal of previously banned accounts who attempted to evade suspension by creating new accounts." With the losses, Twitter's user base fell to 326 million, which after 2 straight quarters of losses roughly matches the level that it was in early 2017. Twitter said it added new users but wiped out more than it gained. Daily active users grew 9% over the last year, but they account for fewer than half of monthly users. Twitter said it expected to lose several million more in the fourth quarter. It also reported a profit for the last 4 quarters, something it hasn't achieved before. Revenue growth was up 29% year over year, and net income totaled $106 million. Video accounts for half of the company's ad revenue. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. Reuters reports Caitlyn Jenner, America's best-known transgender celebrity, said on Thursday that she had been wrong to support President Donald Trump, saying he had insulted the transgender community and turned them into political pawns. Jenner, who announced her transition from Bruce Jenner to Caitlyn in 2015, voted for Republican Donald Trump in the 2016 presidential election despite criticism from the LGBT community. In an opinion piece for the Washington Post on Thursday, Jenner said she had hoped to work with Trump and Republican policymakers to support transgender people. Jenner said, "Sadly, I was wrong. The reality is that the trans community is being relentlessly attacked by this president. He has ignored our humanity. He has insulted our dignity. He has made trans people into political pawns as he whips up animus against us in an attempt to energize the most right-wing segments of his party." Jenner's opinion piece was published after a report this week that the Trump administration was attempting to create a narrow definition of gender as being only male or female and unchangeable once it is determined at birth. birth. Jenner had been one of the biggest celebrity supporters of Trump, but she wrote on Thursday, "I cannot support anyone who is working against our community. I do not support Trump. I must learn from my mistakes and move forward." This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Millions of Americans are irrationally feared dead following a train derailment near Wilmington, Delaware.
Less than 200 people were aboard the train, but because no names have been released yet, countless more are being imagined trapped inside the wreckage by worried parents and overly anxious friends.
And the list of imagined victims is growing by the minute. From brothers-in-law who live in Delaware, who usually drive but could possibly have been on that train, to friends who went to Delaware on a business trip and may have been next to the tracks for some reason when the train derailed.
And sadly, we're getting reports that even those who have never been to Delaware are now also among those irrationally thought killed.
Oh, and we are just now getting word from Homeland Security that they're now warning people their fears may spiral into a wholly new fear that their loved ones never existed at all and are just byproducts of a drug-induced lucid dream in which their consciousness is currently imprisoned.
Such a shame, since this is reality.
There is nothing beyond this. To believe otherwise would be folly.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live. This is Free Talk Live. Kicking off hour number 2, you can call in and join us by dialing toll-free 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And the us in studio tonight is me, Darryl.
Michael.
And Chris.
And we spent the better part of the first hour talking about wasteful government spending. And, well, we found the article that I was trying to tease but couldn't remember what it was. Apparently, Apple did something with a gray button.
With a GrayKey. Okay, so Apple...
So what is this thing? Because I don't use Apple devices.
I don't either. I do, however, pay attention to what Apple's doing.
Okay.
Because these iPhones are very popular, and they have... the governments have a funny habit of wanting to break into them from time to time.
Yes. I think most people probably remember the San Bernardino incident from, was that late 2015, 2016?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, 2015, because it was a topic of discussion in the 2016 presidential election.
So one of the devices that governments use to break into iPhones is called a GrayKey.
All right.
And this article comes to us from Forbes. Apple has managed to prevent the hottest iPhone hacking company in the world from doing its thing. Uncloaked by Forbes in March, Atlanta-based Grayshift promised governments its GrayKey tech could crack the passcodes of the latest iOS models right up to the iPhone X. From then on, Apple continued to invest in security in earnest, continually putting up barriers for Grayshift to jump over. Grayshift continued to grow, however, securing contracts with Immigration and Customs Enforcement and the Secret Service. Now, though, Apple has put up what may be an insurmountable wall. Multiple sources familiar with the GrayKey tech tell Forbes the device can no longer break the passcodes of any iPhone running iOS 12 or above, which is the recent version that came out like a couple weeks ago.
Okay, so are they calling the iPhone X iPhone 12?
No,
because I know that they've got like a weird counting scheme that they do.
The iPhone is the phone. The iOS is the software that runs on it.
Ah, okay. Okay, so iOS 12 is that the version that's on this iPhone X?
Right, that's the latest version that came out just a couple weeks ago, and most current iPhones will get it as an update.
Okay.
If your iPhone doesn't, it's very, very, very old.
All right.
So on these devices, GrayKey can only do what's called a partial extraction, sources from the forensic community said. That means police using the tool can only draw out unencrypted files and some metadata such as file sizes and folder structures. Now, previously, GrayKey used brute forcing techniques to guess passcodes and had found a way to get around Apple's protections preventing such repeat guesses, but no more. And if it's impossible for GrayKey, which counts an ex-Apple security engineer among its founders, it's a safe assumption few can break iPhone passcodes. No. Police officer Captain John Sherwin of the Rochester Police Department in Minnesota said of the claim iOS 12 was preventing GrayKey from unlocking iPhones, quote, "That's a fairly accurate assessment as to what we have experienced."
All right, so it sounds like he's tried to break into some people's iPhones.
Yes, he has, and he hasn't been able to. So he says, give it time, and I'm sure a workaround will be developed, and then the cycle will repeat. Someone is always building a better mousetrap, whether it's Apple or someone trying to defeat device security.
So my first thoughts here are somewhat of skepticism, and that this is actually Apple trying to help the police. And hold on, I'll explain. Because we know that Apple has in the past said, hey, police, if you have a valid warrant and you've not, bricked the phone by trying to brute force into it too many times, we will unlock the thing for you.
Wait, when did they say this?
Yeah, when did they say this?
They've said that numerous times. That's one of the things in the San Bernardino situation. They actually told the FBI, we can't do anything because you bricked the phone by trying to guess the passcode too many times. And then it locked everything down.
Yeah.
They basically told the FBI, had you not tried cracking into the phone, we would have gotten into the phone for you. So by preventing police from trying to crack into phones, it's in a roundabout way helping the police, because then Apple will crack into the phones for the police.
I don't recall this, what you're talking about there with the San Bernardino thing. As far as I know, Apple basically gave the FBI the finger the whole time.
Because the FBI had already
Not because the
bricked
FBI
the
had
phone.
bricked the phone, but because that was Apple's normal stance. Go away.
So, as I understand it, what Apple said is, if we create something to crack the encryption at this point, then it would be able to unlock every phone, and we're not going to do that. But had you not bricked the phone, we could have gotten into it.
Yeah, that second part, I don't recall this at all.
Yeah. I do, and
one of you people out there has been following this closely. Give us a call. If
you remember as I do, or maybe I'm misremembering, but I've heard other tech podcasters say the same thing, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You looked like you had something to say.
Yeah, I think the way it was said may just be misconstrued or misunderstood, as opposed to, because I think there was some excuse given like that. But at the same time, I don't necessarily know that their stance wasn't that they had no intention of helping them unlock the device, or create a backdoor, at least is the way it was phrased, I think.
Yeah. So trying to find something on the Apple website, they do have a government information request page on their website. So I'll try digging into this and see if it mentions complying with warrants. But let's continue.
Yeah, but that's a little bit different than helping to extract encrypted devices from the phone itself.
If the warrant says, we want information from this device, and Apple says, we will comply with valid warrants as long as you haven't turned the phone into a brick. Maybe it would be implying
a subpoena. It would be a subpoena, not a warrant. I'm trying to think what the difference between a warrant and a subpoena is. A warrant would be to get access to. Oh, that would be weird.
People get subpoenaed. Information gets
So
forcibly provided.
Information gets subpoenaed from a company. It would be
if you're a witness in a case.
Yeah.
They give a subpoena for Chris to appear in court to testify.
Okay.
If they want to get information, then the court
you might be right.
issues a warrant saying this person is required to...
A warrant would be for something that already exists, not to...
Yes, the iPhone exists. Information on said iPhone exists.
Hold on. It's something that's within your control that exists. So the iPhone, they can't make somebody do something like create a backdoor for the phone. That was the whole point of those multiple cases that we had.
Account request on the Apple
That's
website.
For something that Apple has already.
Account request for most commonly involved information related to a customer's Apple account. We apply the highest U.S. legal standard, and we require a search warrant for all U.S. requests for content. All international requests for content stored in our data centers in the U.S. must comply with the U.S. Electronic Communication Privacy Act. So they're saying that they will comply with valid warrants.
Information that they hold as a company, not information that's on the customer's phone.
Stuff
on your iCloud or
stuff
whatever.
on the phone automatically goes to the iCloud.
Is synced, unencrypted,
so
then yes.
Apple has the information.
I don't know how much information they have, but yes, you make an argument here. But again,
Very
it's only,
few people
it's only
turn off
information.
syncing to iCloud. So Apple has the information.
Okay,
Apple
I'm
says
not-
they will comply with warrants.
Won't disagree with you on that.
Maybe
but
I'm reading something into it, and maybe you're speculating
the
customer sides that
is,
customers actually care about their privacy.
Hold on. So if Apple is going to refuse to basically get the data off the phone, there must be something on the phone that they don't already have.
Possibly. Or they could just be saying, we're not going to create something to break the encryption on the phone, but you give us a warrant and we'll give you the info that we have.
Assuming we have it.
Well, they will give what they have.
Right.
Whether they have it or not is another question, but they will give what they have. This is Free Talk Live. Your calls and thoughts. Welcome 855-450-FREE. This November, I'm running the New York City Marathon as a member of Team Innocence Project because I'm a passionate supporter of their work. 2018 has been a banner year for the Innocence Project. Since January, 9 of their clients have walked free. Innocent people who combined to serve more than 200 years in prison for crimes they did not commit. And because of the Innocence Project, the risk of being wrongfully convicted has been greatly reduced for millions of people. October 2nd is International Wrongful Conviction Day. It's an opportunity to draw attention to the countless innocent men and women who remain behind bars and the need to reform our broken criminal justice system to prevent wrongful convictions. At any given time, the Innocence Project represents 200 clients who need their help to prove their innocence. This year, the Innocence Project helped pass a first-in-the-nation prosecutorial oversight law in New York and eyewitness identification reforms in New Hampshire and Louisiana. You can help the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
The Liberty Dollar was so successful that the United States government had to take it down, and its founder, Bernard von Nothaus. Now Bernard's son Extra has launched Liberty Dollar 2. LD2 is a cryptocurrency, but each token is backed by the same gorgeous fine silver rounds that Liberty Dollar has always been known for. Your silver is secured in an audited vault and can be redeemed at any time. There's only a few thousand LD2 Zero tokens left in the crowd sale at ld2coin.io. Get yours. ld2coin.io. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That is how you can call in and join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl,
Michael,
and Chris.
And there's still time, possibly maybe, for you to get to the Texas Bitcoin Conference. It starts tomorrow in Austin, Texas. So if you've got to fly, then fly in early. If you live within driving distance, then you still got time to drive. And of course, Free Talk Live will be broadcasting from the Texas Bitcoin Conference. Ian left earlier today. Mark is on a choo-choo, should be arriving tonight, hopefully, maybe. I'm not in charge of his travel plan, so I don't know when he's arriving. I'm also not in charge of Ian's travel plans. I just know that Ian left earlier today. So again, the Texas Bitcoin Conference, they have multiple networking opportunities, panels, and keynotes from industry leaders. And 2018, if you've never been, 2018 is the best year to attend. The Texas Bitcoin Conference has everything from a governance panel to a juggling workshop with speakers like Paul Pui, Bruce Fenton, Lynn Ulbricht, and more. For the full schedule, head over to texasbitcoin.com/schedule. And you can also get your tickets at texasbitcoin.com. That's texasbitcoin.com. So, Chris, apparently there's some kind of horrible privacy law in the European Union that is it requiring people to remove names off of their doorbells, or that's just the extent people are going to because they bought into the fear of, if I have my name on my doorbell, I might go to prison.
So this is actually a town, I guess, removing the names from the doorbells, because I guess, or the post office or something to that effect, removing the names from the doorbells throughout the city. So let's back up a moment, though. So the GDPR is basically
that's the
general
global department of something.
I believe it's General Regulation Data Protection.
All right, so it's some British or not British European Union EU law about privacy that, depending on how broadly or narrowly one interprets the words written down on paper, it could apply to farmers in Iowa.
Yeah, it absolutely, definitely, I think.
Again, depending on how broadly or narrowly one reads
it's a very broad law, though.
Right, but do you really think, because I know that you take the very broad interpretation of what this thing is, because we've had this discussion previously.
Sure.
Do you really think that police in Europe are going to spend time investigating a farmer in Iowa that may have a website that somebody in
selective enforcement
Germany goes to? Yes, everything is selectively enforced.
And this is the problem with these laws, is when the law is so broad that you can enforce it on basically anybody willy-nilly.
Anybody anywhere in the world.
Right. They're going to, at some point, somebody's going to have an itch up there.
Yep.
And they're going to enforce it on somebody, or try to enforce it on somebody, and somebody's assets are going to be seized. And yeah, I mean, that's just how it works. I don't know. I mean, there's so many other laws that you can use too, but it's just one more.
Right. So what's the latest? And I'm still confused about why the post office would be removing names off of doorbells.
It's just what they do in this city and country in Europe. So I guess it's kind of common in Europe. I think Germany's also got. That's common in Germany, I think, and I think
I know that a lot of large apartment buildings.
Yeah.
There's little buzzers to where you know, like, this person's in apartment 307 or whatever, but it's not the post office that puts those names there. It's not the post office that would have the authority to remove the names, which is why I'm curious why the post office is involved in doorbells.
So, you know how we have numbers in the United States for houses?
Yes.
Well, I don't know how it is in the rest of Europe, but I know in the UK, they have names instead of numbers in some places.
Okay.
So I would kind of relate it to that.
All right. So instead of saying apartment 375 at West 37th Street in London, that apartment would have a name, not a number?
Yes.
Sounds weird, but okay.
Or maybe the name of a building it would be addressed to as opposed to a number.
Okay.
Like a house number.
Got it. So they're removing the names of the buildings from the buildings?
I don't know.
You're the one with the story.
You are getting Darryl very confused. Get into the story.
I read the story last week, and I'm bringing it in now. Okay, so it's been a little while since I've read the story. It's a good story.
Yeah.
Let me get
jump
into it
the story
and
instead
not
of
have
talking
me
about what we think the story talks
right.
about.
Exactly. Let me not have errors and stuff in what I'm relaying here. So finding someone's home in Vienna used to be a fairly simple process. You approached the building, checked for the correct name from that list at the door, and then rang the doorbell. But these are difficult times, and the doorbells aren't an exception. Across the Austrian capital, last names are being replaced with numbers to conform with a new far-reaching European privacy law that took effect earlier this year. About 220,000 name tags will be removed in Vienna by the end of the year, the city's housing authority said. Officials fear that they could otherwise be fined up to $23 million or about $1,150 per name.
So this is government housing.
That's what it sounds like.
I'm not sure that that's entirely clear.
What's the source on this article?
So this is Europe, guys. So they do things differently in Europe, and like there's a lot of socialism going on. So I'm not entirely sure that this is.
Well, what's the source on this story?
So this is from the Washington Post.
All right.
.com. And yeah. But let me continue with the story, and maybe it'll kind of explain it, but I don't think it does. They are acting following a complaint by a single tenant, but no court has so far ruled on whether names on doorbells are indeed a violation of Europe's tough new privacy laws. Vienna's housing authority did not respond to calls on Friday. So it sounds like maybe it is, some sort of, but again, a lot of, I know in like the UK, for example, and a lot of these European countries, a lot of the housing is owned by the government. And so, I don't know how big Vienna is, so I don't know what 220,000, that sounds like a heck of a lot of homes. And mind you, each home is likely to have more than one person. So, what is that in terms of population? I don't know. But again, I also don't know the population of the capital of
Vienna.
Yeah, Vienna. So if somebody wants to look that up, might help us get an idea. The continent has long been at the forefront of consumer protection laws. While Google Street View blurred the faces of individuals across the world, European users successfully demanded an additional option to have their houses or apartments blurred, too. EU watchdogs also regularly investigate American tech giants like Google and Facebook and have shown a more serious commitment to hold to them to account over privacy breaches than their U.S. counterparts. Yeah, so I mean, that's certainly true. But the U.S. is now trying to pass a law similar to this, so it might be coming to a city near you.
1.9 million people in Vienna.
Okay, so if you populate 220,000, so it's a good proportion of the city probably.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
This is Fred.
Hi, I'm Fred.
Fred's a repeater.
I tend to repeat.
Fred has a business.
I do have a business.
And a problem. Fred repeats the same tired advertising over and over, and now it doesn't work.
Over and over.
But Fred is about to see a vision.
I'm seeing a vision.
Advertising on the Genesis Communications Network is the smart way for Fred to reach his potential customers with the most affordable national advertising rates, period. Get started today with GCN, the Genesis Communications Network. Just email advertise@gcnlive.com.
When you use public Wi-Fi, hackers and identity thieves can see anything you do online. Embarrassing photos, your web history, even your passwords. That's why I use private internet access to encrypt my internet connection for less than 10 cents a day. Sign up now at privateinternetaccess.com, and in just a few minutes, you'll be browsing anonymously and only sharing what you want to share. privateinternetaccess.com. It's time to protect your online privacy.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That is the toll-free call-in line, how you can call in to join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl,
Michael,
and Chris.
And we've been talking about this privacy law thing that exists in the European Union. And, well, apparently some people in Austria are concerned that if they have their name on their doorbell that they might be found in violation of the thing, or maybe the landlords think that they might be found in violation of the law. It's all really confusing, and I don't think that the GDPR, and I forget exactly what it stands for, but I don't think that it specifies you can't have a name on a doorbell.
It doesn't.
Yeah, I don't think it does either. It does seem like it might be extending it beyond what the law requires, but again, somebody's interpretation, and more than one has interpreted it as such. And as we know, broad laws, you have these types of situations.
Right.
If you look at so there's actually in the very next paragraph, some critics say that the push towards more privacy has gone too far. Several U.S. news sites, including the Chicago Tribune and Los Angeles Times, became inaccessible in Europe after the new data protection law was introduced earlier this year. So it's not just this government housing in Vienna, which apparently might be as much as half of the population is being impacted by this in Vienna, based off of this one interpretation.
But that's assuming slightly over 4 people per apartment or house that's being affected.
Right.
Of the 220,000. This says
right. And that's why I said
220,000 name badges. I don't think the average house has 4 people in it.
No, it's probably like somewhere between 3 and 4. I don't know exactly which. And again, this is Europe, so it might even be lower than what I'm guesstimating. But those, I believe, are roughly around the statistics that are usually the case. But if you want to look it up, go for it. It might have some better information, but it's still a huge number, whatever it is. 220,000 people, even in a city of 1.9 million, is a substantial number. And they said last names, so I think it's probably pretty fair to assume that there's probably more than one person average
right, so
household.
It's definitely more than 220,000 people,
yeah.
but I don't think it's 1 million people that are being affected
in
what appears to be government housing here. But again, we don't know. We're speculating a lot here because the Washington Post isn't giving us a lot of details. And again, I'm still curious about, this whole thing is just strange to me.
So, and this isn't just Vienna though. It's actually changed in other European cities. So, but in Europe, a doorbell isn't just a doorbell. While some countries, including France, Spain, and Poland, introduced numbers instead of names decades ago to make things easier, Germany and some other countries upheld the doorbell name tradition. Doorbells are part of the building's identity and build community. Everyone knows everyone because the names are right there at the front door. So yeah, it's not just Vienna where this was like a tradition. It's lots of places in Europe. Apparently.
Yeah, it just seems strange to me that every time a new tenant moves in, the name of the apartment number, like the actual the flat, which is what they call them in Europe.
Right.
Oh yes, this is not Unit 303 of this building. And, this is Unit Chris.
Yeah.
And Chris moves out, and then it becomes Unit Darryl.
Yeah.
Right.
It's I don't know if that's what's going on here. It might not.
That's what it sounds like you're describing as happening.
Well, that's what it sounds like to me, but I don't necessarily know so one of the things we also don't know is just because in the UK that's common, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the same thing in this situation.
Well, in the UK, I also know that they do assign unit numbers to the thing. The Ecuadorian embassy is flat 3B of that apartment building.
So it does. That's true. They do sometimes, but they don't always. It just depends. And I've mailed many of items to people in the UK over the years without any kind of number. So it's just a name.
You've still got the postcode.
Right, but the
not any kind of house number is what we're talking about here.
Right, so there are offices in the State House in New Hampshire where if you go to the state website and look up particular offices, it doesn't provide a street number. There's still a street number for that building, but it just says address it to office of fill-in-the-blank department. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that there's not a street address.
Yeah, now take it to the next level and have this for some random person's house.
That's not how mail works in the U.S.
It's not, but that's how it works in the UK.
You're speculating that's how it works.
No, this is how it works. I've addressed, well, not personally, I haven't addressed, but people who have worked for me, this is how it's been addressed, and it's not an issue getting through the mail.
So there's no street name. There's no town.
There's a street. There's going to be a street name, but there's
Bill O'Shaughnessy.
There's no house number. There's no building number.
That seems very, very strange to me. Is there more from this article?
It's strange to me too. And I mean,
or does it just sort of start repeating over itself.
Yeah, no, I think we covered it. I mean, this is,
so I found something from the Teller report, and this just adds even more confusion, where apparently the Federal Commissioner for Data Protection, Andrea, I don't know how to pronounce this weird letter that doesn't exist in the English alphabet, Andrea Volkhoff, has rejected data protection concerns regarding tenant names on bell labels. She said, the call to remove all bell labels is unnecessary. The Owners Association House and Grund has demanded clarification from the federal government after a case from Vienna had caused a stir. A tenant had complained that his landlord about his name being on the bell and appealed to the new General Data Protection Regulation. He got right, whereupon names of tenants are to be replaced by numbers at all 2,000 so-called community buildings in the Austrian capital. Affected are more than 200,000 apartments. A possible reason for the Viennese actionism, the GDPR provides for fines for data breaches, but Volkhoff says that neither automated processing nor actual or intentional storage in file systems exist, and it's generally not within the scope of the new EU rules. So basically, the person that's currently enforcing this GDPR says, we're not going to fine people for putting the names of their tenants.
I mean, no, it sounds like to me, based on what my interpretation of that is, that it's outside the scope of the law, which it very well may be. My understanding of the GDPR is it relates to automated processes, computing, basically.
Data
so
processing.
I'm not sure that this would be applicable.
Yeah.
I mean, so personally, I'd rather not have my name associated with, as like in place of a number for my house, but it's not going to be that much of a difference.
One thing that's common in the U.S. is people to put their names on their mailbox.
That's true, but I don't put my name on my mailbox, and it's not like somebody's forcing the name on my mailbox at the same time.
Right, but you also don't live in government housing where they might require you to have your name on a mailbox.
But at the same time, these people don't necessarily have a choice but to live in government housing because of the way these very socialist countries are basically operating. If you, I mean, if they weren't taxing people to death,
there are only 220,000 households in all of Vienna?
No, what I'm saying is that if you take these people's money and then you give them housing vouchers because you've taken all of their money, they can't afford to pay for their own rent or purchase property, et cetera, et cetera.
Let's go to the phones and what I believe to be a prank caller. Hopefully it's not. Chuck in San Francisco, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thought.
Hey guys, it's Chuck from
Yep.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah. It's Chuck from San Francisco. Yeah. So you guys are doing a fantastic show tonight. Absolutely love it. Yeah, I was calling in with kind of a problem I have. So let me explain. I'm a big fan of the Younglings. Okay.
Yep. All right. Yeah. So this was going to be a prank call. The headline or the subject was "Sexy Ladies." Figured it was going to be a prank call. Thank you. I guess. This is Free Talk Live. Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses on the setup page, and then load the app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. AnyPay.global. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They are working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at Horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global.
Broadcasting to over 1,000 radio stations, GCN programming is in all of the largest markets. A GCN advertising career could be the business opportunity you've been waiting for. Companies need hardworking representatives just like you to handle their needs, while you earn residual income which can last for years. Companies are buying and they need you. Email advertise@gcnlive.com or call 877-996-4327. That's 877-996-4327.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Block-It Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockItPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockItPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockItPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That's the toll-free call-in line where you can call in and join us. There's also the Discord call-in lines. Head over to discord.lrn.fm. Going to change gears here and talk about taxes. You know, something that everybody loves, right? I say that with tongue firmly planted in cheek. But first, want to tell you about a way that if you have a retail business and you're looking for a solution for point of sale for cryptocurrency acceptance, well, it's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork. There is no approval process to open an account with AnyPay. If you already have a tablet, then you're halfway there. Basically, just sign up at AnyPay.global. Drop your personal crypto wallet addresses into the setup page, and then load the app. That's it. You're ready to accept cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash, and now Bitcoin Cash has been reinstituted into the AnyPay system. Get started now at AnyPay.global. That's AnyPay.global. So, taxes. Everybody's favorite thing, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know of anybody that actually likes taxes. I think most people just sort of, like they
Oh, I know they're out there. I know there are some people who enjoy paying taxes because they think that they are supporting charitable programs or whatever.
Well, apparently a new study says that residents with lower incomes pay a higher effective tax rate. States and localities are filling their coffers by disproportionately burdening lower-income residents who are taxed at a higher effective rate than top earners, according to a study that was released by a tax policy group on Wednesday. The 50-state analysis by the nonpartisan Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy found that the lower one's income, the higher the effective overall rate of taxation at the state and local level. The study includes sales tax, excise tax, user fees, and income tax. In fact, states which boast low income taxes are often the most likely to have systems that end up shifting the fiscal burden to lower income residents, says Carl Davis, one of the authors of the study. The reason? States with low or no income tax meet their budgets, Davis says, by taxing consumer goods, property, and certain services and items. Since those items and services are taxed at a flat rate, everyone pays the same rate regardless of income. They add up to a bigger chunk of poorer earners' income than richer ones, he says. Further, people who choose to live in states with little or no income tax might find they end up paying more than if they lived in a state with a higher income tax. Thoughts so far?
I would love to see their methodology on this, because we've seen 50-state analysis of people's overall tax burden, and New Hampshire, where we have no income tax and no general sales tax, is consistently at the top of that list of most least expensive places to live as far as taxation.
I mean, this is anecdotal evidence here, but I certainly, when I moved to New Jersey, which is one of the higher tax states, it's certainly I'm glad that I have no income tax in New Hampshire, and there's no general purpose sales tax.
Right.
But
property taxes in New Jersey are about the same, right?
They're about the same. I think I was paying a little bit more in property taxes in New Jersey. So certainly I'm doing much better in New Hampshire.
Right.
So
whereas somebody that lives in, say, Florida, where the property taxes are lower and there's also no state income tax, they might not be, as benefited by the move to New Hampshire because property taxes are higher.
Right, but they do have a sales tax down there.
Right. But, the property tax, that's the one that is sort of the most visible, right? Because you get that bill once a year, or in some places twice a year. And, you're writing a big, huge, giant check, whereas when you go to the grocery store, you're just adding a little bit on.
They're just nickel and diming you.
Yeah.
Now there are some things I will say that New Hampshire has tax-wise that New Jersey doesn't. So it's not a lot of things that I've noticed, but little things that I can understand do add up. There's a vehicle registration tax, or I think they call it a fee, but it's a tax ultimately. Right. In New Jersey, it was $5. In New Hampshire, hundreds a year.
Right, because New Hampshire tax is based on the value or the estimated value of the vehicle.
Yeah, so minimally, you're probably going to be paying hundreds a year. Yeah. I don't know what a brand new vehicle is, because I haven't had a brand new vehicle in New Hampshire, but it's at least hundreds a year. And I'm trying to think what else we've got. There is a prepared meals tax, which is 9%. New Jersey has a 7% tax.
Right.
So it is a little bit higher for and I like to eat out a lot, so it certainly does have a bit of an impact there too. And I'm trying to think what else. I think
but your clothes aren't taxed. So when you go to,
it's not taxed in New Jersey either.
Okay, I know that there are some states that they tax everything.
New York was.
I know some states they even tax groceries.
Alabama is one of the states that still taxes groceries. Whereas other states, they don't tax groceries, but then they write the rules in such a way as to where Twix may or may not be taxed based on the aisle that it is in.
I've been to places like Chicago. You've got an income tax in Illinois. You've got property taxes. Then you've got a 12% sales tax.
What?
12% sales tax in Chicago.
I thought the highest in the United States was like 10%, other than like maybe New Jersey and very select places where it's 13.
Yeah, it's 12 in Chicago. I've not heard of a 13 in the U.S. But
I'm guessing
there's
that
like special administrative districts in New Jersey.
I'm
but
guessing
generally some percent
that
in New Jersey.
in Chicago, that's probably one of the states where there's the state sales tax,
Yeah, you have the state
county,
and the local,
and then the
yeah.
municipal. So once you add all of those together,
Yep.
It's 12.
Yeah.
You're right. You're probably right.
Yeah, I think in Birmingham it's 10 or 11, whereas there are some unincorporated parts of the county just a few miles outside of the city where the tax rate's like 5.5 or 6.
Oh, wow. That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Continuing on with this article from U.S. News, Davis, again, who was one of the authors of the study on taxation, says, it's a common belief that states without income taxes are universally lower tax states. But the reality is that low income tax people living in Texas, which has no personal income tax, pay much higher taxes than if they lived in so-called high tax states like California or New York. Nationally, people living in the bottom 20% of earners face a state and local tax rate that is about 50% higher than the top 1% of households, according to the study. That does not mean that low-income people pay more in absolute dollars, only that their effective tax rates are higher.
By percentage.
The national average effective state and local tax rate is 11.4% for the bottom quintile of taxpayers compared to 7.4% for the top 1% of income earners. According to the study, Washington State is the least equitable in the nation, with the biggest disparity between effective rates for low-income people and the rate for the wealthiest. Rounding out the top 10 are Texas, Florida, South Dakota, Nevada, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Oklahoma, and Wyoming. States the authors deem most equitable, the ones with tax systems in which the top earners pay more, are California, Vermont, Delaware, Minnesota, New Jersey, Maine, New York, Montana, Maryland, and Oregon. The differences come from the widely variant ways that states raise their money. The federal income tax, for example, is progressive, meaning people earning more end up paying a higher portion of their income in taxes. While deductions can lower the ultimate tax bill, the basic format is intended to ease the burden for people with the least ability to pay. States, however, do things differently. Some have progressive income taxes, some have flat rates for everyone regardless of income, and others have none at all. All states, however, have to get their money from somewhere. I want to pause there to say that this presupposes that states have to exist and have to pay for things.
Very true.
But,
That's true.
The popular narrative is that governments have to tax people, and there are certain things that they have to pay for, and they have to pay for those
Taxes are the
somehow.
price we pay for civilization.
You know what I find funny is we pay all this money in taxes, and then so I drove from North Carolina the other day to, well, actually I didn't drive, my partner did, but all the way from North Carolina to New Hampshire. I can't tell you how many tolls we went through. We went through probably a dozen tolls. It's like, isn't this supposed to solve those taxes? Isn't that supposed to solve these types of problems?
Oh, you're trying to logic here. There's no logic in government.
No.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. In an historic event, former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. To secure your spot, text JOIN to 44055. This event is the first of its kind ever. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls in the weeks and months ahead. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars. To join American Cannabis Summit, text JOIN to 44055. Attendance is free. Text JOIN to 44055.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, October 26th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.59 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,233 per ounce. Zen is trading at $14, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,479. Antiwar.com reports Saudi Arabia's prosecutor issued a statement Thursday, once again revising the kingdom's official account of their killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Citing new evidence, he says he now believes the killing was premeditated. This fact should come as no surprise, as a 15-man kill team was dispatched to the consulate specifically to meet Khashoggi. That the Saudis revised their story again, however, is noteworthy, as after a flurry of different versions over the weekend, they'd sort of let the story sit. Indications are that this is the result of Turkish officials having shared more of their own intelligence on the murder with the Saudis. Since Turkey has been giving that information to the U.S., it would not make much sense for the Saudis to make claims contradicting what Turkey has already found out. Of course, since the Saudis killing Khashoggi, the simplest way to avoid having to keep changing their official story would have been to tell the truth in the first place. The problem is that officials are desperate to keep the Crown Prince from being blamed in any direct way for it, which means they have to keep dancing around the underpinning of the plot. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. UPI reports Twitter's crackdown on automated bots, spam, and fake accounts resulted in the loss of 9 million users in the third quarter, according to the company on Thursday. The social media giant said it anticipated the loss after it started using better software to pinpoint questionable accounts or prevent them from signing up at all. Twitter said in its quarterly filing, "We made progress preventing spammy or suspicious new account creation by requiring new accounts to confirm either an email address or phone number when they sign up to Twitter, and we improved the detection and removal of previously banned accounts who attempted to evade suspension by creating new accounts." With the losses, Twitter's user base fell to 326 million, which after 2 straight quarters of losses roughly matches the level that it was in early 2017. Twitter said it added new users but wiped out more than it gained. Daily active users grew 9% over the last year, but they account for fewer than half of monthly users. Twitter said it expected to lose several million more in the fourth quarter. It also reported a profit for the last 4 quarters, something it hasn't achieved before. Revenue growth was up 29% year over year, and net income totaled $106 million. Video accounts for half of the company's ad revenue. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. Reuters reports Caitlyn Jenner, America's best-known transgender celebrity, said on Thursday that she had been wrong to support President Donald Trump, saying he had insulted the transgender community and turned them into political pawns. Jenner, who announced her transition from Bruce Jenner to Caitlyn in 2015, voted for Republican Donald Trump in the 2016 presidential election despite criticism from the LGBT community. In an opinion piece for the Washington Post on Thursday, Jenner said she had hoped to work with Trump and Republican policymakers to support transgender people. Jenner said, "Sadly, I was wrong. The reality is that the trans community is being relentlessly attacked by this president. He has ignored our humanity. He has insulted our dignity. He has made trans people into political pawns as he whips up animus against us in an attempt to energize the most right-wing segments of his party." Jenner's opinion piece was published after a report this week that the Trump administration was attempting to create a narrow definition of gender as being only male or female and unchangeable once it is determined at birth. Jenner had been one of the biggest celebrity supporters of Trump, but she wrote on Thursday, "I cannot support anyone who is working against our community. I do not support Trump. I must learn from my mistakes and move forward." This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
The Onion looks back at This Week in History. On July 17, 1980, Ronald Reagan accepted the nomination for president at the Republican National Convention in Detroit and delivered a speech in which he boldly promised that during his presidency, someone would body slam Andre the Giant. While admitting that the road would be long and hard and that it might take as long as 7 years and 2 WrestleManias to get there, the former California governor vowed that under his administration, somebody, perhaps Ricky the Dragon Steamboat or a hulked-up Hulk Hogan, would grab hold of the 500-pound behemoth and send his massive body smashing to the mat. The Republican nominee also went on to promise that by the end of his first term, Joni would marry Chachi, hair metal would achieve mainstream airplay, and Shelley Long would successfully make the leap from television to film.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, kicking off hour number 3. You can call in to join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl,
Michael,
and Chris.
And we're talking about taxation, or should I say extortion, from various governments, because there was a study that came out earlier this week, and I was doing some digging into said study. It's a 145-page report, and some of the charts are rather interesting. We'll jump back into this article here in just a moment, but of course you can call in to bring up whatever is on your mind. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. So we left off in this U.S. News report about the study, again, 145 pages, where they say that all states have to get their money from somewhere, and so they impose taxes and fees, including general sales tax, gas tax, and other energy taxes, and levies on everything from homes to cars. Virginia, for example, levies an annual tax on automobiles, though federal law exempts members of Congress, except those representing Virginia, from the law.
Wait, what?
So if you are a member of Congress from not Virginia, and your car is in Virginia for a certain amount of time, then you're exempt from the Virginia levy on cars. But if you are representing the state of Virginia and you live in Virginia, and you're a member of Congress, you don't get the exemption.
Say what?
Oh, wow. Try to wrap my head around that one. Okay, I get it.
So
and I understand
Washington,
why.
D.C. is right next to Virginia.
Yeah, it is.
And a lot of members of Congress will have apartments in some part of Virginia instead of being in downtown D.C. And apparently whatever this levy, and I know that we have people that listen that live in Virginia, maybe they can call in to explain this better than what I'm thinking that it is. 855-450-FREE. So basically my understanding is if your car is in Virginia for more than a certain number of days, you've got to pay some kind of thing. Unless you're a member of Congress, in which you're exempt, but if you are a resident of Virginia and happen to be a member of Congress, you don't get the exemption. So,
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's trying to wrap my head around it was like,
that's government
wow.
logic.
Yeah, it is. It's very much government logic to like carve out all these exceptions and wow.
Yeah. They say, and that is where the lower income people get hit hardest. That being the various fees, the sales taxes, the energy taxes, the gas taxes, and the levies on things. For example, California has one of the highest state income taxes in the nation with 10 tax brackets. But since that relieves the state from having to impose myriad other fees, it's more equitable, according to ITEP, which is the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy.
All right, I'm sorry, but this one just is baffling me. It's just, is this making sense to you? Like, I mean, you're looking at the actual numbers here, Darryl, because it seems to me like this would be counterintuitive to what I would imagine to be the case.
What ITEP is saying is equitable, is that richer people pay more in taxes at higher effective tax rates.
At the end of the day, if I'm making less money, don't I want to be someplace like Texas where the cost of living is lower, presumably? I'm presuming it's a lot lower.
They're not looking at cost of living. They're only looking at tax policies.
Okay, so that explains a lot. This sounds like basically a manipulate. The way they're using it, it's being manipulated. The data.
They're only looking at tax policies.
Right, but if you only look at tax policies and the cost of living is sky high because of the tax policies in California, which they are, you wouldn't want to live in California if you were poor.
I wouldn't want to live in California anyway. But I
know.
Chris.
Okay.
There are things called single issue advocacy groups.
Okay.
This is one of them. So there are groups that only look at the marijuana policies, and they don't look at taxation. They don't look at anything else.
Okay.
They only look at certain things. And this group, the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy, is only looking at taxes and the numbers that they come up with. And I can go over these bracket by bracket. Lowest 20% has a much lower tax rate on income, but a higher effective tax rate when you look only at sales and excise taxes than the top 1%. 7.1% of the tax burden I think that's 7.1% of the income for those in the lowest 20% gets paid on sales and excise taxes, whereas for the top 1%, it's less than 1% goes to sales and excise taxes.
Well, that only makes sense.
The top 1% has 4.9% of their income going to income taxes. And again, these are only state and local. This is not counting in federal. Whereas the lowest 20%, 0.1% of their income is going to income taxes. So once you average all of these numbers, then they're saying that the lowest 20% pays a higher effective tax rate than the top 1%, and then they're looking at the various states. Again, only on taxation, not overall cost of living.
And and they didn't figure in federal taxes with these numbers.
Correct. But the federal taxes aren't going to change from California to New York because it's the federal rate.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
Your income bracket might change.
Yeah.
On average, if you're in California compared to Texas. But again, the tax rate itself, just by virtue of living in California versus Texas, isn't going to change the federal tax rate.
You know, if I lived in California, I'd be poor and probably homeless because the cost of living is so high. You have to make $100,000 a year just to
and then the government
feed
gets
yourself.
more of your money, basically, the federal government.
Yeah, that's true.
So continuing on, they say Nevada has no income tax but levies taxes on consumer goods, tobacco, alcohol, gas, and notably gaming. The study does not take into account the impact of lower personal income and corporate taxes on overall economy, That according to Demian Brady, research director for the National Taxpayer Union Foundation, who says the whole study is basically biased against consumption taxes. The metric that it leaves out is economic growth generated by the appeal of lower tax rates. Further, Brady says income taxes are a volatile revenue source since wages and employment rates can go up or down. User fees and consumption taxes are more predictable, helping states plan their budget, he says. States are trying to build a structure to grow the economy. Well, I don't know. I think, at least from my experience, not that I'm a fan of consumption taxes, but from my experience, consumption taxes are also going to fluctuate.
Yeah.
If everybody in a given area winds up seeing a boost of income, then they're going to go spend more money. If you live in a tourist destination, certain times of the year, you're going to have more consumption income than in the off season. Continuing on, Michael Leachman of the Center for Budget and Policy Priorities says the lure of low income and corporate taxes is overrated. California, after all, is the location of super successful Silicon Valley, he points out. Further, California voters passed a new tax bracket, a higher bracket, on very high income people around the same time that Kansas implemented its big tax cuts, which disproportionately favored the wealthy. Leachman says California, since that time, after 2012, has far outpaced the national economy, while Kansas has fallen behind. Congress last year passed a law capping the amount of state and local taxes people can deduct from their earnings for federal tax purposes. And Leachman says, given how high inequality is, there's good reason for states to require high-income people and corporations to pay a, quote, reasonable share of their income to support services. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live. We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening in your home anytime, anywhere. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. Blink is an Amazon company.
Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, or BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you're going to buy anyway when you shop using SaveItPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. SaveItPurse.com. Save ATPurse.com.
A majority of Americans are pointing to Friday's tragedy as a clear call for major reforms in everything, or literally anything at all that might prevent acts of horrifying, senseless violence. According to a recent ONN poll, the nation is united in saying that the key to preventing future tragedies is a drastic change in gun control, mental health care, school security, media coverage, violent entertainment, the fragility of the human condition, and really so many other things we probably haven't even thought of yet. yet. Jesus. The Randolph Center for Public Health and Safety also released a statement saying, quote, if you look at statistics regarding gun violence in the United States, you'll see the recent shooting is a clear cry for any thing at all to please be different. In Washington, lawmakers have reached a bipartisan agreement that the U.S. desperately needs tighter firearm restrictions or looser firearm restrictions, or honestly, whatever option just makes these things stop. Do that one.
This is the Onion News Network.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Your calls and thoughts welcome about whatever is on your mind, whether it be regressive taxation, progressive taxation, proportional taxation, abolishing. Can we talk about abolishing taxation? Because, that's the libertarian solution there. But there was a study that was done by ITEP, which was the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy, and they found that once you factor in state and local taxes and remove the federal tax rates, the people in the lower 20% of income earners pay higher effective tax rates than those in the top 1%. And of course, looking at their 145-page PDF, nowhere in there did they have proposed solutions. But we will change gears here in just a moment to talk about people learning to read the wrong way. But before we do, I want to make sure that you know about Liberty Dollar 2. They just released their limited LD2 Zero token, and Free Talk Live is going to be giving away 10 of them. That's a $350 value. Each LD2 Zero token is backed by an ounce of silver, a gorgeous .999 fine silver round, just like what Liberty Dollar was famous for. To enter the contest, send an email to contest@freetalklive.com. In the subject line, you need to include LD2. That's LD, the number 2. And also, preferably in the subject line, after a space or 2, include a number between 1 and 1,000. Again, to enter, send an email with LD2 in the subject line and include a number between 1 and 1,000. Send that email to contest@freetalklive.com. The winner will be selected on November 5th. In the event of a tie, the prize will be split. Liberty Dollar 2 will help you set up a wallet so that you can receive your prize. You can learn more about Liberty Dollar 2 at ld2coin.io. That's LD, the number 2, coin.io. ld2coin.io.
Oh, Darryl, I found this story just actually over the break from the New York Times. The title was, "Why Are We Still Teaching Reading the Wrong Way?" And I had to look through this, and this is something I've actually known was going on for quite a while, but this is pretty sad. Our kids are just not learning how to read properly.
Now, what is the proper way to read?
In a word, phonics. That's it. That's what science
That's
tells
how I
us.
learned to read.
That's how I learned.
I think my dad learned to read using the whole word method, and they found that people that learned to read that way don't know how to spell.
Right. That method is science has pretty much debunked that method.
Yeah.
Are
you familiar with the whole word?
Yeah, so I'm familiar with both methods, and that's how that's what they taught when I was going to school. But certainly, I think the way I actually learned to read was the way you're talking about with phonics.
Yeah, and so for people that aren't familiar with phonics, you learn the different sounds of the letters or letter combinations.
That's right.
And then you learn to spell or to verbalize, sound out the word.
Right.
So you see a word that you have never seen before, and then you start sounding out each sound that you have learned, and then you can basically read anything. Now, you might mispronounce a word every now and then. The French word bourgeoisie looks very much like how an American would say Burgios. I didn't even know until probably the last couple of years that it was pronounced bourgeoisie. It's like every time I saw it, I was like, oh, Burgios. All right.
The thing is, English has ripped off so many words from other languages over the centuries that you'll run into those things from time to time.
Right. That's why we've got the silent K in a bunch of words.
Yeah, and the silent GH and the silent this.
Yeah.
Although
sometimes GH is pronounced like an F.
That's very true. That's very true.
Yeah. So let's get into this article from the New York Times.
From the New York Times. This is dated today. It's supposed to be published this Sunday. Our children aren't being taught to read in ways that line up with what scientists have discovered about how people actually learn. It's a problem that has been hiding in plain sight for decades. According to the National Assessment of Educational Progress, more than 6 in 10 fourth graders aren't proficient readers. It has been this way since testing began. And a third of kids can't read at a basic level. How do we know a big part of the problem is how children are being taught? Because reading researchers have done studies in classrooms and clinics, and they've shown over and over that virtually all kids can learn to read if they're taught with approaches that use what scientists have discovered about how the brain does the work of reading. But many teachers don't know this science. Now, what have scientists figured out? First of all, while learning to talk is a natural process that occurs when children are surrounded by spoken language, learning to read is not. To become readers, kids need to learn how the words they know how to say connect to print on the page. They need explicit, systematic phonics instruction. There are hundreds of studies that back this up. But talk to teachers, and many will tell you they learned something different about how children learn to read in their teacher preparation programs. Jennifer Rigney Carroll, who completed a master's degree in special education in 2016, told me she was taught that children, quote, read naturally if they have access to books, end quote. Jessica Root, an intervention specialist in Ohio, said she learned, quote, you want to get children excited about what they're reading, find books that they're interested in, and just read, end quote.
So I'm guessing here that they have at least taught some of the basic. It's not like you just hand a 2-year-old a book and they're going to figure out how to read.
Yeah, I don't know any 2-year-olds that you just hand a book and they figure out how to read on their own.
All right, or even a 5-year-old. Like, unless they have the basics of understanding these are the letters, they're not going to just figure out how to read.
Right, and people that do know how to read, they either learned it intentionally or learned it accidentally. Going on, Kathy Bast, an elementary school principal in Pennsylvania, learned the same thing. Quote, it was just put literature in front of the kids, teach the story, and the children will learn how to read through exposure, end quote. Exposure. Do
they also say that children learn math through exposure?
This article doesn't get into that, but that's a whole other topic, and we can talk about that tomorrow or Monday, I guess.
Right, but like this, just they'll figure it out. Well, unless there's an underlying, understanding
pattern.
Of,
yeah. Once you've got the
these
pattern,
are letters, these are numbers, this is this thing, this is that thing. Like, yeah, you give a kid a bunch of Lego blocks. They'll figure out how they stick together and they'll make something.
Right.
But that's completely different than just like, Here's a book.
Here's a book. If you don't know what
Figure
those
it
symbols mean, if you don't know what those glyphs mean, how are you supposed to figure that out?
Right. Here's a book. It might be English, might be Spanish, it might be written in hieroglyphs. You'll figure it out, little Timmy. Or maybe you won't. 855.
Archaeologists can't figure it out.
855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE. Oh, yeah, there's also the Discord call-in lines over at discord.lrn.fm. This is Free Talk Live.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com. Or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Excuse me, is this where I get a license to start a new business?
I wouldn't be hasty. You have to get a license to go out of business, too, you know.
Oh, well, look, I've invented this little anti-gravity machine, see?
Oh, is that why you're walking 2 inches above the floor?
Oh, yes, it's very comfortable. It saves on shoe leather.
Yeah, well, you have to fill out these forms and report to the Human Services Department of Manpower Orientation and register with the Fair Employment Practice Commission, the Wage and Hour Division of the Employment Standards Administration, the State Sales and Income Tax Division, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Social Security Administration of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, and, of course, OSHA.
OSHA? I thought that was a little town in Wisconsin.
You'll find out. Say, floating around like that could be dangerous. Have you checked with the Consumer Product Safety Commission?
Well, not yet.
Come to think of it, you actually are flying, aren't you? Look, you need to go over to the Federal Aviation Administration and the Transportation...
It's very hard to get anything done these days if you're in business, but free enterprise built this country. Think what could happen if we don't keep it free. A public service of this station and the Center for the Defense of Free Enterprise, Bellevue, Washington.
Besides, we just can't have people floating about unregulated, you know.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And there's also the Discord call-in lines available at discord.lrn.fm. We'll jump back into the article here from the New York Times about schools teaching people the wrong way to learn how to read. But first, I want to make sure that you know about Anarchapulco. It's coming up in just a couple of months. February 14th through the 17th, 2019 in Acapulco, Mexico. Speakers like Ron Paul, Judge Andrew Napolitano, Doug Casey, Larkin Rose, some of the biggest names in the liberty movement will be at the largest gathering of free thinkers, voluntarists, libertarians, and ANCAPs in Acapulco, Mexico. You'll most likely love, assuming that you're the type to attend, you'll love the lineup of speakers. If you're not the type to attend that sort of thing, then you won't love the lineup of speakers. But they'll be there discussing entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships for 4 days among the sun and beaches of a world-class resort. And of course, Free Talk Live will be there again. Go to anarchapulco.com. Use code FTL to register and receive 15% off. Anarchapulco.com, code FTL. So let's jump back into this article from the New York Times about why schools are still teaching children to read the wrong way. And some of the people quoted here were saying, oh yeah, just put a book in front of a kid. He'll figure it out.
Yeah,
teachers at that.
They will learn to read through exposure, and this is what teachers are being trained in their teacher preparation programs in universities. What's going on is that instead of what science has told us, that children learn to read through phonics, and that's pretty much it. That's right. How children learn to read. They're teaching teachers the wrong way to read. They're teaching some strange ideas, and these ideas are rooted in beliefs about reading that were once commonly called whole language, in quotes, and which gained a lot of traction in the 1980s, and I'm so glad I learned to read before then. Whole language proponents dismiss the need for phonics. Reading is, quote, the most natural activity in the world, end quote. Frank Smith, one of the intellectual leaders, so-called intellectual leaders of the whole language movement, wrote.
Hold on. No, reading is not one of the most natural activities in the world. If you know how to read and you enjoy reading, then yes, it will be natural for you to read. But if nobody's ever taught you and somebody just drops down, War and Peace, Dostoevsky or some other really long, boring thing, Ayn Rand, you're not going to want to pick it up and flip through all the pages and figure out what all the words mean.
What are all these symbols? So, his quote gets better. He says, quote, it's only through reading that children learn to read. Trying to teach children to read by teaching them the sounds of letters is literally a meaningless activity, end quote.
No.
What?
No. Yeah, it's absurd.
So here's a list of all the letters, Chris, and here's what each of these letters sounds like. So the letter A can sound like ah or a, depending on where it is in a word. The letter B makes a b sound, etc., etc. And once you know the sound of all of these letters, then you can see a word that you've never seen before, and you can sound it out. He's saying that that's not the right way to learn to read.
You know what I think of? This kind of reminds me of, and correct me if I'm thinking about this wrong, but how the Chinese have rote. I don't know that there's any similar system. It's rote memorization. That's why they're very good at certain tasks, right? But that's what makes the English and Latin in general different from other systems.
Even the Cyrillic alphabet, which is what's used in Russia. You're talking about the I don't
know the details of all.
Asia. I forget that there's a certain term to describe like Chinese, Japanese, to where it's all characters,
right?
To where just a slight modification will make it a completely different word,
right?
But things with written alphabets, it is easiest to learn to read by knowing how that alphabet works.
Right, and it seems like that they're just kind of passing over this huge advantage that would make reading super simple.
According to the intellectual leader behind Whole Word, he's like, you don't need to know how the language works, just to know that it works.
You just need to like memorize all these symbols and whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of like you do some computer programming.
Yeah.
At least, more than I do. Like, I know HTML, which is not computer programming by any stretch of the imagination. But when you're programming a computer, you have to know what the different things do, not just, if I type this, it does a thing. You need to sort of understand, I guess, the philosophy behind the
concepts.
thing. And I realize philosophy might not be...
concepts.
The concept. So... to really understand a language, you need to understand the concepts of here's how words are structured in this language.
Yeah, the language doesn't actually matter. It's the concepts, and that's what they should be teaching in any kind of computer science class. And it's the difference between teaching somebody to program and teaching somebody, computer science.
Right. And, that's one of the reasons that I got better grades in Latin than I did in English, because I understood the concepts of how words and sentences were structured in Latin. I don't remember that now, 25 years after taking Latin.
And that's why it's a dead language.
Well, no, there are multiple reasons, and it's not really a dead language. People still teach it and learn it and know how to read it and write it. If nobody could read it, write it, or speak it, then it would be a dead language. It's just not anyone's native language.
Was it ever anybody's native language? Wasn't that one they created
Rome?
Explicitly for... Yeah, but wasn't it explicitly created for like communications between groups or something?
It's what they spoke in the Roman Empire.
You're thinking of Esperanto that was created as some kind of new kind of language. But most languages were created so that people could communicate.
Or evolved over
that's
time.
how language
no. But for
exists.
some reason I was thinking it was created for the communications amongst people who spoke different languages. So it was like explicit as opposed to...
Well, it was used as that at one point once the Roman Empire got so large. And just then sort of the Catholic Church has adopted it, and there are all kinds of theories on why they did so, adopted that as sort of the official language of the church. And there's one theory that they did that because they didn't want the low-level people knowing what the Bible actually said. If we just tell them this is what it says, and we prohibit them from learning how to read or write. So let's continue.
So the whole language ideas had been debunked by the early 2000s. It may seem like kids are learning to read when they're exposed to books, and some kids do pick up sound letter correspondences quickly and easily. But the science shows clearly that to become a good reader, you must learn to decode words. Many whole language proponents added some phonics to their approach and rebranded it, quote, balanced literacy. But they did not give up their core belief that learning to read is a natural process that occurs when parents and teachers expose children to good books. So while you're likely to find some phonics lessons in a balanced literacy classroom, you're also likely to find a lot of other practices rooted in the idea that children learn to read by reading rather than by direct instruction in the relationship between sounds and letters.
Now, I would say that, that they're trying to sort of cast a one-size-fits-all solution here. Some people do learn by doing the thing. Other people learn by watching somebody do a couple of times and then trying. So there's never going to be a one-size-fits-all solution. And it seems as though they're trying to come up with which one is the one that we have to do. We can't allow alternatives. If little Timmy learns a different way than little Johnny, well, one of those two kids is wrong. No, they're just different. This is Free Talk Live. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
The Liberty Dollar was so successful that the United States government had to take it down, and its founder, Bernard von Nothaus. Now Bernard's son Extra has launched Liberty Dollar 2. LD2 is a cryptocurrency, but each token is backed by the same gorgeous fine silver rounds that Liberty Dollar has always been known for. Your silver is secured in an audited vault and can be redeemed at any time. There's only a few thousand LD2 Zero tokens left in the crowd sale at ld2coin.io. Get yours. ld2coin.io.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. In an historic event, former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. To secure your spot, text JOIN to 44055. This event is the first of its kind ever. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls in the weeks and months ahead. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars. To join American Cannabis Summit, text JOIN to 44055. Attendance is free. Text JOIN to 44055.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to bipcot.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. Possibly time for you and your thoughts if you call in now in the final segment of the show to 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We'll get to the phones in just a second, but want to tell you about the AMP program. If you like the show, then consider joining the AMP program, giving at least $5 per month, like Mike Spike has done. He's a silver amplifier. And your money combined with that of the other amplifiers helps us advertise, market, and promote the show to not only get a larger audience, but also to get the show on more radio stations. We're currently on over 190 radio stations, and we can be on a lot more, but it requires us to get the show in front of the people that make the decisions to put us on the radio. And you can help us do that. amp.freetalklive.com, amp.freetalklive.com. Let's go to David calling in from San Francisco. David, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Oh, yeah, howdy. A couple of your voices I don't recognize, so all aboard. I've been calling the show for years. Hey, by the way, did you notice in the Intercept tonight, they say that the guy that sent all those bombs, his house got foreclosed on during the 2008 economic crash, subprime crash, and the Steve Mnuchin's bank was one of the guys that foreclosed on the bomber. And
are they saying that the guy's been in the house for the last 10 years, even though it was foreclosed on?
Oh no, I think he's been living in his van.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why he's living in, and it wasn't a cheap house. It was like a $350,000 house. And Steve Mnuchin, it goes into, I don't know if you ever saw, there was a 60 Minutes piece, and they talked about how many forgeries these banks were doing. And this one woman would do 750 forgeries per day. Wow. 750. She was faking notaries. She was backdating. She was doing all kinds of fraudulent stuff, and that's Mnuchin's bank. And if you now realize that Mnuchin is the Secretary-Treasurer, or he's our Treasury Secretary of the United States, right? And this guy is a crook beyond belief, and Trump appointed him. And he's one of those that it was his bank that foreclosed on the bomber. So, hey, well, you know what I was going to ask? You all of you are libertarians?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, now, where do libertarians stand on kings?
I don't stand on other humans because that would be a violation of personal rights. But if you're asking me what my thoughts are on monarchies, I would say that I would be opposed to those, just as I personally am to all coercive governments. But I guess in theory, there could possibly be a small government monarchy, but I don't know if it would be better than, some kind of representative something that, even though there's written constitutions that supposedly limit the power of government, they don't actually seem to limit anything.
Wouldn't it be something more along the lines of which produces a more free society, king or democracy, or something along those lines?
Is that the question, David?
Well, it's obviously because of Saudi Arabia. And here we've got the guy, actually, this Mr. Bonesaw, the pretender to the throne. He's actually a prince who was appointed by another prince to manage the show for the king who's like in a mental decline. The king's basically sick and has the starts of Alzheimer's.
Right, so the crown prince of Saudi Arabia basically is running Saudi Arabia.
No, he's the crown prince appointed Mr. Bonesaw. So this guy's third down the line, and he's like...
Oh, so you're saying that somebody other than Mohammed bin Salman, who is the crown prince, you're saying somebody other than him is actually running all of Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, this MBS guy. Okay. And, more bullshit. Or excuse me.
No, you can't say that, David. Sorry, I've got to drop you there. There are certain words that you can't say on broadcast radio. So I was interested in hearing where he was going.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he was going with that. He kind of just totally switched gears in the middle of...
right, but back to the question about monarchies versus republics. I like digging into the World Freedom Index that comes out every couple of years. And one thing that is interesting, and I only find it interesting because words actually have meanings, where people like to point out the United States is a constitutional republic, as if that automatically means, more free. Of the top 10 countries in the Human Freedom Index, as compiled by Cato, the Fraser Institute, and several other entities, 5 of the top 10 countries on the index do not have written constitutions and are monarchies.
Well,
interesting.
Yeah.
Now, are they real monarchies or are they pseudo monarchies in that they were once monarchies and now they have just like titles but no actual power?
That is still technically, whether it's an absolute monarchy or one of these, like the United Kingdom is a monarchy. Australia is part of the Commonwealth of blah da da, and New Zealand is one of the top 3 countries in the Human Freedom Index. It's probably going to wind up falling when they do the next thing because several horrible laws have wound up being passed in the last couple of years.
So where was the U.S. on this index?
Generally in the low teens or 20s.
That sounds about right.
Not in the top 10. Canada also does not have a written constitution and is technically a monarchy because the Queen is head of state of Canada.
Okay.
The Queen is head of state of Australia. The Queen is head of state of New Zealand. Those are all countries that are monarchies. But they wind up ranking as more free than the United States. China is technically a republic. North Korea is technically a republic. So the word republic in and of itself doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, that's a fair statement.
Let's go back to the phones where we've got Rex calling in from Georgia. Rex, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
All right, buddy. Do you fully understand that Russia has been in control of Venezuela for at last 10 years, operating labs and all different sorts of things Russians do for at least 10 years? That these Venezuelans in amongst that march north there that they do it. They done tore through the fences in Mexico. Now,
what fences in Mexico? Hold on, Rex. What fences in Mexico, and what does a fence in Mexico have to do with Russia and Venezuela?
Guatemala and Mexico, and tore the fences down and busted into Mexico. These folks is infected with anything Russia can come up with.
Where are you getting this information?
From a Guatemalan orange sticker that was paid by his government to come here with an infectious disease and spread it amongst the orange stickers.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can we just call him crazy?
Was that a real call?
I don't know.
I don't know.
There are stupid people out there. Like I deal with some of them on every once in a while, and they're just really that dumb.
Yeah. Now, I did see a headline earlier today that I didn't bring this in as show prep because the article was actually from April of this year, but apparently some kind of migration of people fleeing Central America towards the United States, although as I understand it, a lot of them wind up seeking asylum of some sort in Mexico. Apparently, it's a regular occurrence for people to flee Central America and head north.
We did talk about this earlier this week.
Yeah.
And apparently,
that's really happening.
This migration is just larger than it's been in a decade, which is why people have all of a sudden started to pay attention to it. But it sounded like that caller was trying to say that Russia has infected Venezuelans with all kinds of diseases and forced them to march up. And then whatever fence he was talking about on the border of Mexico's southern border, there is no fence on Mexico's southern border. That's some kind of weird right-wing fantasy that they like to dream up as an excuse to put a fence on America's border.
It was Monday Night Show.
We're out of time for tonight. We'll be.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.